everyone, it's Natalie. Welcome to my channel, Find Joy in the Journey. Today I wanted to share with you this new method that I learned on washing your fruits and vegetables with a vinegar and water bath. Supposedly it's very effective on killing mold on strawberries and blueberries and other fruits and vegetables. So basically you're going to take a bowl of water, that's 3 cups of water, and then you add a 1/4 cup or a 1/4 cup of white distilled vinegar. You can also use apple cider vinegar, but I choose to use the white vinegar. Supposedly it will kill off any mold spores that's on the strawberries, and also it's effective on E. coli and listeria. So I'm adding the vinegar to the water, and that's it. It's only those 2 ingredients that you need. So I'm adding the strawberries to the water. You're going to let them sit in the vinegar and water bath for approximately 2 minutes. So after the 2 minutes are up, you're going to drain the berries, and then you're going to give them a good rinse with cold water. Now that your berries are completely washed, it's time to dry them. You're going to let them dry naturally by placing a paper towel or this is a dishcloth. I'm using a clean dishcloth, and I'm placing them with the leaf side down, and I'm going to allow them to dry for at least 3 hours or until they're completely dry. Now that we've got the strawberries done, it's time to work on the blueberries using the same method. So here I have a large bowl, 3 cups of water, and this is just regular tap water. And now I'm adding the 1/4 cup or 1/4 cup of white distilled vinegar. I got these blueberries from the same market. I can't wait till I have my own berries from my own garden that I'll be washing and storing for use. So I'm just letting them sit in the water and vinegar bath, kind of sloshing them around a little bit. And it's going to sit for the same amount of time as the berries did, the strawberries, 2 minutes. After the berries are completely dry, I'll show you the next step. That's storing your berries for later use. You're going to place it in a glass storage dish. You can use a glass bowl, but you want one that has a lid. And you're going to line your glass dish with a paper towel. I'm not going to remove the leaves. You can leave them just the way they are, or if you would like to save time, go ahead and remove the leaves. I'm using a glass dish, and it has a lid. Supposedly, this will extend the life of your berries. Normally your berries may last just a few days. Well, this will extend it for at least a week or so. And that's a money saver. Okay, you guys, for this next step, I'm going to use some berries that I had already washed and stored in the refrigerator. And I'm going to do something that I have done 1,000,001 times to my berries and did not even know that there was a fancy term for it. But it's called macerating your berries. Basically, it is the process of adding sugar to your berries to draw out the natural juices in them. And it improves the texture, it improves the taste, and they're nice and juicy. So today I'll be using sugar, but you can always use citrus juice like orange juice or lemon juice. I've seen people use alcohol to macerate their berries. But today I'll be using sugar on my strawberries. And on the blueberries, I will use sugar and lemon juice. Now it's time to add sugar to the berries. Now, basically, like I said, this is something I have done so many times and didn't know that there was a term for it. But whenever I would have my berries, um, that I got from the market and I noticed that they weren't sweet enough, I would always add sugar. And also, if I was using strawberries, like, say, for instance, on strawberry shortcake or on my cheesecake, I would always add sugar to basically make a syrup to use on these desserts. So when I found out there was an actual term for it, I thought it was funny. So I used about a tablespoon of sugar, but you may be able to use more or maybe less. But this tablespoon was just the right amount for this amount of berries. And as you can see, I cut them into little bite-sized pieces. And you just stir the sugar onto the berries, and in just seconds you're going to see the difference. You'll see how the sugar draws the natural juices out of the berries. Now you can see here it's only been a few minutes since I added the sugar to the berries, and there's a visible difference. The texture has changed, they're much softer, and I've tasted one. They're actually very sweet, not overly sweet. That's why I recommend that you don't use too much sugar, but you basically give it a taste before you add any more sugar, because just a little may be just enough. And I'm going to let this sit a little while longer because there's going to be a syrup that collects at the bottom of the bowl, and I'm going to use this later on a dessert. So next I'm going to use the same process on the berries, these blueberries, but I'm going to add lemon juice. So you see here I'm basically checking the berries and removing any stems, and I'm going to sort through them. Now I could have done that before I washed them, but I was being a bit lazy and I wanted to just go ahead and get them washed and store them. And I figured I would sort through them later on. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the process. Okay, now that I have the berries sorted, I'm going to use the same process that I did with the strawberries. I'm going to add a tablespoon of granulated white sugar and stir. Now the only difference with the strawberries and the blueberries, with the strawberries they were cut. They were cut into bite-sized pieces. So that means when I added the sugar was able to draw the natural juices out of the strawberries pretty easy. But with the blueberries, I left them whole, and they have that outer coating where the sugar needed a little help, I believe. So I added the citrus juice. I used lemon juice in order to add more liquid. I didn't use too much lemon juice because I didn't want to change the flavor of the berries. I just wanted to improve it. So I was very conservative with how much lemon juice I did use. But I wanted to add that extra liquid. So basically what I did is I took a lemon, a whole lemon, and I sliced it in half. And then you squeeze the lemon juice right on top of the berries and you mix. It's as simple as that.